Well, hello, my lords and ladies, and welcome to another episode of our Elden Ring series. We're painting the Exile Soldier. I want to first off, as always, thank all the YouTube members for all their awesome donations and supporting the channel. You guys will get early access to this, along with all videos for this week on Sunday. This video will be out Friday, so you get a 5-day head start if you would like to paint this nice little miniature. It's up to you. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the follow, hit the bell, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment if you would like. Greatly appreciate it. This is a pretty simple miniature. You do have multiple of them to paint, but without further ado, let's go. Alright, first off, after scraping all the nasty mold lines off your miniature, go ahead and spray paint it in black with white from above to create that zenithal highlighting. For the top covered cloak area, we're going to do some Vorbak Red. I thinned it with a decent amount of water in there, so it's got a little bit of translucency in there, but doesn't need to be as translucent as mine, but it's up to you. Alright, for a vast majority of the Exile Soldier, according to the art from Elden Ring, it is a very dark drab that they wear. So we're going to use a lot of the Basilicanum Grey. Now, the only things we're going to do differently is we're going to use some metallics and some browns here in a little bit. So the middle portion is more of like an armor piece from the art that I was looking at that had more of a leather feel to it. So that's kind of where we're going to go here in a little bit with that. Also with this is the shoes and the back sides behind like the knee area. There's multiple other areas that you can paint this with, but don't worry, we'll go over it with another color once we're ready for that. Now I did thin this with a Lamia medium, so about a 50-50 mix, so that white kind of sticks through. Alright, for the arm guards and our axe handle itself, or the middle portion of it, we're going to be using some Wyldwood on there. This is not thin, this is straight out of the pot, so you don't need to thin it with any Lamia medium or water. For the wrap along the handle, we're just going to use some Snakebite Leather straight out of the pot. And typically if we use some Lamia medium, I'll obviously tell you. Otherwise, it's just straight out of the pot. For that tiny little bit of face that you can see, we're just going to put some Fyreslayer Flesh in there. And you can notice that the white is already sticking out on the nose, and that's kind of all you're going to see. Alright, so this is kind of the thing that I went off the cusp with. Now, according to the art, and when I played this game, this is more of like a barbed wire, but the molding on this did not work very well. Now you could paint this with the lead belcher if you would like, but I'm using kind of like a vine look, so I went with some dark angel's green, but it is up to you. Alright, for our metallics, so the axe head and the gauntlets as well we're going to be using some Iron Warriors. This is also on the chainmail, the large area of chainmail around the bottom of our skirt area. We're doing this with Iron Warriors as well. Alright, to now go over the brown leather areas, we're just going to use some Dryad Bark. Now there is some indentations or some buttons on there that you can also paint with some lead belcher if you would like. And then finally, there's some blue from the art. This is what I found. Some Macragge Blue we're going to do around that little strip around the bottom. So trying to follow the art as much as possible. Alright, moving on to a couple shades, just 3 of them. The red, we're going to be doing some Berserker Bloodshade, pretty simple. And then the metallics, and on the Basilicanum Grey area, we're going to use some Nuln Oil, so pretty simple on that. And finally, for the brown areas, we're going to use some Agrax Earthshade. Very nice. Alright, working on some highlights here. We are going to be doing some edge highlighting of Runefang Steel. So we're just kind of going around the edges of that axe blade. We're kind of doing a little bit of a dry brush on those leg gauntlets. And then obviously the large pieces of armor around the skirt area we're going to paint in as well. So take your time on it, don't go crazy, and it'll make it stand out real nice. For the blue area, we're just going to put some Hoeth Blue on there. Yep, pretty simple, nothing crazy. And then we're just going to brighten up that red area. You'll notice that that Berserker Bloodshade kind of gives it a glaze. It looks kind of awkward. But this Worldbearer's Red, we're just going over the raised areas. Nothing into the recesses. Just let those sit in there and look pretty nice. Alright, for the pieces of armor, leather armor, we are going to put some Baneblade Brown in there, and just kind of going around the bottom portions, the little U shapes, and keeping those buttons as is. For the thing that I went off the cusp for, the vine, which should be barbed wire, we're going to use some Nurgling Green on there. Finally, we're just going to do a little bit of a dry brush on the edges of our gauntlets and a little bit onto our brown areas, specifically the Snakebite Leather area. We're just going to do some Ushabti bone real quick. And finally, we are moving on to the base. For the bricks, we're just going to throw some Gryph Charger Gray. You can add some Lamia Medium in here and it will make it more translucent, but it's up to you. I just did it straight out of the pot and it makes it give it that nice bluish white color. And finally, your favorite part of painting this miniature, because it means you're done, is the rim of the base. We're doing Abaddon Black. Pretty simple. And that's it. That's all she wrote. We are moving along with the expansion for Elden Ring. But this one was pretty simple, pretty easy. Some of these will be a little bit more difficult in the future. So yeah, thank you for watching. Again, if you're a YouTube member, you will be getting early access to this. And yeah. So, thank you again for watching. Thank you for all my YouTube members. Thank you for all the subscribers, people who leave comments, people who truly enjoy this channel. I can't thank you guys enough. You guys are absolutely awesome. But we'll have some more Elden Ring coming up and a lot more other stuff. If you want to see something, I got a whole bunch of stuff to paint. So, I love you all, and I'll see you on the next one. Paint on.